Welcome everyone to Author Camp. I have a special guest today, Kat Sturtz. Kat is someone who not only is super knowledgeable about Trello, but I've discovered she's quite knowledgeable about a number of other things as well. I was friends with Kat for in a kind of the superficial way that you are with a lot of people on Facebook or some of the other platforms until I met her. I was speaking in Florida at an event, and then I met her in person, and we have been good friends ever since. So it's not because of the friendship, it's because of the knowledge that I wanted her to talk with you today. You've seen as you signed up her bio, she has incredible credentials. And so I'm going to just monitor the chat if you have questions, and then we'll take time for questions at the end. And then I will talk a little bit more about some opportunities for Author Camp if you're not a member, but I want to just give Kat plenty of time to jump in. I know she's got an awesome presentation for us. So with that, thank you, Kat, very much for being here and taking the time to do this really special presentation just for the Author Camp people and today's guests.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, and you and I are going to be demonstrating right with our actual Trello account some of the things we do that anyone can do, but that's a special interest to authors and those who are creatives. So even if you're not a book author, you might be writing blog posts or emails or whatever, we've got it. What I'm going to share today, though, are my secrets, and Linda's already aware of this. I take a different approach to Trello, and I'm going to go ahead and screen share my screen here. We've been having just a little bit of technical problems, so bear with us here. We've
got a good crowd here that's patient, so I know they'll wait until you get ready to share.
Okay, let me know when you can see that.
Yep, all good.
All righty, great. And this is, like I said, Trello Secrets for Authors with me and my wonderful host here. And just a little bit more about me that Linda didn't mention. I am habitually curious, creatively organized, and as anyone who knows me, a little bit quirky. I am also highly intuitive, but what I know about most of the people that I network with, especially authors, if you don't share the feeling of highly intuitive, you most likely share that habitually curious, creatively organized part of yourself with me. And I share this because it had to do with a lot of what I disliked about Trello when I first tried it, and the secrets I discovered to absolutely loving it and using it daily now. So let's go on here. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about 3 secrets, and these are my top secrets for loving it. We're going to talk about 4 key concepts about using it, and I'm going to give you some 6, probably more, but 6 definitely top tips for using it. And then Linda and I are going to go live with our Trello boards and actually demonstrate some of the things. We'll answer your questions if you have a particular situation with Trello that you'd like some feedback on, or how do I do that? We can't go into big depth, but we will do what we can. And of course, there's a little special offer at the end. And no, I'm not sorry for offering that, because I think everybody should have my Easy Trello course. You won't need it though if you're well versed with Trello and are swimming along with it just fine. So let's go ahead and unlock those first 3 secrets. The first one is, and I want you to truly embrace this, forget what you think or have been told about Trello. Now, anybody here not know what Trello is? I view it as a dynamic and robust filing cabinet to store all kinds of notes and information and actual material things like images, files, if you want to do that. It helps me collaborate with other people. There's all kinds of things. So it's a very dynamic and a robust system. But the number one thing it is a filing cabinet, just like your physical one in your office. But if you look at Trello, the way Trello is presented, or by the way, Atlassian presents it, which is the parent company now of Trello, it's all about workflow. And we're going to move beyond that. So number one, forget what you think or have been told about Trello. Come to this with an open mind. Number two, I want you to stop feeling guilty because you aren't using Trello in a particular way. This was my problem when I first started using Trello, and I admit I hated Trello the first 3 times I tried it, months apart. I just couldn't wrap my mind about how it was supposed to be used. And I figured out it was because I was trying to pigeonhole what I needed it to do for me into what other people were telling me how either they used it or how it was set up to be used. So I want you to let go of that guilt. Again, be open-minded here. Number 3, and this is so key. It's not one of the key components, but it's a key secret here. Let your need and desire for creative solutions to gather and organize information lead the way on how you personally use Trello. Your Trello environment should not look exactly like my Trello environment, and my Trello environment certainly doesn't look like Linda's, but we make it work because we have mastered how to use it for our personal benefit. And if you're working with someone else with it, there is a share type dynamic that you want to make works for you too. All right. And we're going to speed through as much of the presentation as possible because I really want to make sure we have time for questions and those demonstrations, which I find are really the helpful next step once you get these things. All right, so on to the key concepts. And it really is a puzzle. You put these 4 things together, all 4, and you will be able to get the most out of a free Trello account or even more out of a paid Trello account. I do not have a paid Trello account. I deliberately keep with a free Trello account, and I have found numerous workarounds to avoid upgrading. I will tell you that Trello and Atlassian, that parent company, are in business, and they will gently and persistently prompt you to upgrade at every opportunity. And you're going to want to think about how you can go about it without upgrading until you're ready to upgrade, because there are some wonderful benefits if you upgrade. Linda's got a paid account. She might be able to speak more to that later. So key concept number 1, form follows function. And this goes back to one of those secrets. Don't try to just pigeonhole how you naturally work, your natural habits, your way of doing things into Trello following someone else's system. I will show you how I use Trello, but when I work with someone one-on-one with my team, my Trello consultations, it's all about figuring out how to best use it their way to meet their needs, their natural way of doing things. So I'm not trying to change you, which a lot of people think they have to change in order to use this. Trello isn't the same as Asana or ClickUp or Monday. There are similarities. I have tried all of those. Trello's still my personal favorite. So form follows function, not the other way around. Number 2, focus on practical, not flashy. And when we get to demonstrations, I can show you some boards that I've either paid for or got free that are all full of flash, and it's really hard to see the practical use of them. If you value pretty over useful, you might also lean toward flashy over practical. And I really want you to be practical in your use with Trello. Number 3, use my AAA approach, which is adopt, adapt, and adjust. Adopt the program, give it a thorough go through, try to use it in some of the ways that I'm going to explain. Adapt it then to better fit your personal needs, and then continue to adjust it over time. I'm always tweaking how I'm using Trello because after a while, I find a better way to use it for myself, or I streamline my own processes, and I need to do that with a Trello board or a card or a template or how else I'm doing it, or I'm onboarding a client or a virtual assistant. Now, I personally don't have clients have access to my Trello boards, but I often help them with theirs. So this is use that AAA approach. Adopt, adapt, adjust. Number 4. Anybody who knows me knows I am adamant about adding 3 things to every note that you make, whether it's a handwritten note or a digital note. I believe every note should have 3 things: a full date, a category or topic, and a home to live. Trello, for many of us, will be that home for many of our notes. And I will actually show you how I walk my talk when we get back to a live presentation. And I will show you the notes I'm reading off of that have these 3 things on them. And I can also show you on my Trello boards where this comes into play. Yes, it's redundant in places, but I'll tell you, if you have ever found a paper note while you're cleaning that was stuck behind a cabinet and it had a partial phone number or somebody's name or a bit of information, and you wondered, is this information still relevant? What does this go with? You will appreciate the value of having a full date, including year, a category or topic about what the note's about, and a home. I have a place in my home office for loose notes. Trello is my loose note holder basket, as well as dedicated notes for particular projects. All right, top tips and demos. All right, we're going to start with those top tips. Number 1, this is key for being able to get the most out of a free Trello account, and that's embrace your mighty team of 1. When Trello talks about using it for teams, realize that a team can consist of just you. So you don't have to upgrade to get that team benefit. You be the team. You can assign tasks to yourself. You can watch your own boards for changes. You can do all kinds of things. Even better when you embrace the fact that you are a mighty team all by yourself. Number 2, to listen to the promotion about Trello, to read their emails and their blog posts. It's all about the workflow in Trello. And yes, workflows in Trello can be a wonderful addition to your Trello environment. However, the majority of my boards on my Trello account are not workflow boards. They are what I call repository boards. They are full of information so I can grab the information I need quickly and easily. Number 3, thinking about what number 2 was, leads right into this one. Filing and organizing is only as good as how quickly and easily you can retrieve what you need when you need it. This also goes back to what I think every note needs to have. If you consistently put those 3 things on your notes, on your boards, sometimes on your lists, sometimes on your workspaces, it will help you find and retrieve things more quickly, easier. You will save time, you will save effort, you will save energy, and sometimes that equates to actually saving money as well. None of us want to waste our time searching for things we knew we put in a certain place, a safe spot. But if you can't retrieve it, it's no good to you. All right, some more top tips. Now, workspaces on Trello are listed alphabetically. So if I want something to appear at the top of my workspace list, I add A at the beginning, and you'll see that on my own Trello board. For boards and workspaces, for workspaces in particular that I don't access very often, I put a Z, 1 to 4 Z's at the beginning, and it forces it down that list. This helps keep things organized and keep things that you don't need access to easily at the bottom, and things you do need access to nearer the top. All right. A lot of people don't know this one. People who have taken my Easy Trello course or have heard one of my presentations before, there is no way to delete a list on a board in Trello. You can't do it natively. You can delete a workspace, you can delete a board, you can delete a card, you can archive all of those things, but you cannot delete a list. There is a workaround, and that is to put that list on a board and then later delete that full board. So you can imagine in my Trello workspace, I have a to be deleted board where lists go to die. People ask me, can I really get a lot of value from just a free Trello account? It's always prompting me to upgrade, that I need to upgrade to get this feature. Well, free Trello accounts are limited to 10 boards within a workspace. That's, some of us would like more, and that's one of the benefits of having a paid account, is you can have unlimited boards within a workspace. And I have a summary slide coming up that will show all of 3 tips together, all 4 key components together, and the top 3 tips all together. So that's coming up. And here's the thing about Trello, a free account, you can have as many workspaces as you want. So if you organize carefully, having a 10 board limit is not a problem. And another top tip for me is create logical and practical names for your workspaces, your boards, your cards, your lists, and your labels. And remember that labels are board specific, so you can choose different labels for different boards in different workspaces and even on the same workspace. All right, here's your summary of your 3 secrets. Real quickly, it's forget what you think or have been told about Trello. Stop feeling guilty because you aren't using Trello a certain way. Let your need and desire for creative solutions to gather and organize information lead the way on how you use Trello. Moving forward, here's your summary for the 4 key concepts. Form follows function. Focus on practical, not flashy. Use my AAA approach of adopt, adapt, and adjust. And learn 3 things every note should have. Don't just learn it, embrace it, use it. I can't tell you how my life changed when I started doing this. Number 1, write the full date, including year. Indicate the category or topic, and then give every note a home. And more, I hope that home will be on Trello. All right, and here are our top 3 tips summary. Embrace your mighty team of 1. Not everything needs to be a workflow, and filing and organizing is only as good as how quickly and easily you can retrieve what you need when you need it. If you store something and you can't find it, it's been wasted effort. So this pays a lot of take care. I teach in my easy organizing and flexible filing system course that you want to name things based on where and based on what you will go looking for when you go to retrieve it, not what makes sense and what might be proper when you're filing it. Think ahead. When I go to retrieve this, what keywords might I use? Will I remember the date? Maybe that will help me. And then put it in a location that is logical. On my Trello boards, one of my tricks on my Trello boards is I will have a card that I can search for that will tell me specifically where I stored something, especially if it's not a paper or digital thing, and even if it is. So I can find things in my basement, in other rooms of the house. I have a list that tells me what books I've loaned to whom. So if I go looking for it and can't find it, all I have to do is do a simple search in Trello, and it will tell me exactly where to find that thing.
Kat, I'm
Jeff
going to
has-
pause you for just a second. We've
Sure.
got one person here saying they can't see the screen. Can other people here make sure that they're seeing the screen? On my end, it looks like everyone can see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Patricia can see it.
Thanks, Patricia. Yeah, okay. So
And yes, Jeff, to answer your question, there is a way to print out the boards, lists, and cards. I teach that in my Easy Trello course. It is easier to do with a paid Trello account, but there are workarounds for a free account to do it. Basically, you're going to export it into a spreadsheet format.
okay, thanks for answering that. It looks like everybody can see the screen. So Sia, again, I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly, but I will send out a replay to everyone, and we'll have a copy of the slides, so you'll be able to see everything that was on the slides.
Well, Susan is having trouble seeing it too, but you will be able to see it on that replay, I'm sure.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that must be a problem with Zoom. We've been having a lot of problems with Zoom the last couple of days.
Could be, and they just did a major update too. I updated my Zoom, and I have a paid account yesterday. So, all right, going forward. Let me see here. All right, here are some of the advantages for Trello for authors. You could create and manage your workflows for writing outlines, drafts, for editing and proofing status. That would be a workflow. And your publishing, is the draft done? Has it been edited? Is it in proofing? Do you have the covers? All of that. Linda will probably speak more to that because that's her business. And I know she uses Trello a lot more for authors and publishing and manuscripts than I do, even though I'm a published author. Most of my works were published prior to computers. You know, I hand typed my first 4 books. All right. I use Trello a lot for collecting and organizing my research. In fact, the first time I gave a presentation about Trello secrets, all of my notes were on Trello, and I just went through my cards one at a time and talked about it, because I often use handwritten slides. So rather than a slide deck, you know, an old fashioned, write on a piece of paper and hold it up to the camera. So I was able to do that. You can add notes to enhance your research. One of the things I love to use Trello for is to drag and drop my research onto a card. You used to be able to then add descriptions directly to it. Now it creates a clickable card. But if you convert it to a regular card or type the card in first, then you can still add your notes. And I do this a lot when I do research. You can use Trello for brainstorming, implementing, managing, and tracking your marketing from pre-launch to post-production. Wouldn't it be nice to see a single project with all of the information related to that project in one place? And you can keep historical records of your manuscript, published works, and the most useful marketing and networking efforts. What worked for you? What didn't work for you? You can add all of this information, store it on a Trello board, have it at your fingertips when you need it, especially if you pair it with the free Trello app, which syncs in real time. So whether you're typing on your phone app or on the desktop, you will be able to find things immediately. All right, so we're going to stay tuned for some demos. That is actually a picture from my Trello account. But first, we're going to have this short break for this commercial announcement. Does your Trello fit you like a glove? Mine does. I know some other people who are getting to feel like their Trello is now fitting them more like a glove, now that they found a way to make it work for them in an easy and intuitive way. And this is just some of what is included in my Easy Trello course. There is also an Easy Trello workshop, which includes the full course. You can learn to personalize your boards and workspaces. Lots of information for finding what you save fast. That is key. I'm going to show you a couple things in the demonstration, but in the course, I show you a lot more ways to find things fast. I'll show you how to add helpful and fun elements. So we don't have to give up flashy and fun altogether, but you want to make it practical for yourself. We talk about how to share your boards with others, even with a free Trello account. We talk about power-ups and integrations, board maintenance and security, which I do not see anybody else offering a Trello course discussing those things. And I do ongoing training. It's not regular, but like this one for with Linda today, we have exclusive tips and training for getting the most from a free Trello account. And you can save $20 today on that Easy Trello course when you join using Linda's special link. It's thepublishingcircle.com/Trello authors, and punctuation matters on both that link, and use the code EasyTrello20 to get that discount. And I'll put the link in their chat for you. We can talk more about this later.
Yeah, why don't you share the price? So many of the products that are out there are like $300, $400, $500. This is a super inexpensive product. And I think sometimes people are stopped from even looking because they assume things will be higher priced. So if you wouldn't mind just what your regular price is, and then they get that $20 off.
Oops. Did the screen share come back on? Oh, there we go.
No, we don't
Okay.
have screen share right
I
now.
wanted to go to the sales page, and I can show that. I can show exactly what they're going.
Why don't you just verbalize it? Because
Well,
we
I
won't
have to
get
read it
into
because I
the.
don't remember what it was
Oh,
set
okay.
at. I don't know what it is with the sale.
Okay, and just so
All right, so it is
okay.
The regular price is $197. There is a sale price there of $67, but with your $20 off, it's just $47 for your members and people watching the webinar. So $47 for the Easy Trello course, or a little bit more if they want the course and the workshop.
Yeah, that's a fantastic price. I know that I had set up some of my Trello, not to the extent that I did after I took the course, but I'd set up some of my Trello prior to that. And I just figured I had to have a paid course or a paid Trello account rather. And I think I probably wouldn't have needed that at all if I'd have done the course first, and it would have saved me quite a bit each month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that, and you're kind of like into it now, where you kind of need those things. People need to know too that when Trello is prompting you to upgrade, that upgrade price is only for that particular workspace. So where you think it might be another $9.95 a month to do a lot of things, if you upgrade more than one workspace, that $9.95 just keeps multiplying, and it can be real expensive for people.
Well, and I think a lot of people, and that's why I'd like to get into the demonstrations, a lot of people don't even understand the difference between workspaces. So
exactly.
Having the visuals is going to really clarify some of that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's see here. Let's see if we can get back to here. How's that? Is that the?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right. So there are other ways to get in touch with me, and we can show these screens again later. But one of the things you can do is, whether you buy the program or not, you can get free access to my resource board. And I will show that when we demonstrate. So you can get that there, have your Trello open. That's the easiest way to get access to it. Follow the directions. You need to make a copy of this board, and then it will be in your account. Don't make changes to the actual board, or I'll have to go back in and fix things. And you don't want to make me do that. And there are some other ways you can connect with me. All right, so we want to spend most of the rest of the time getting onto those demos. So I'm going to stop screen sharing. And I need to back out of here. There we go. All right. So Linda, you want to, I've got to bring up my Trello board here.
You want me to go ahead and share?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I use it in so many different ways, but I'm going to show you the one of the pieces that I've used for people in my author camp that I've shared with them. And this, what I did was I broke down an existing book so I could show what I was talking about when I said people need to have an opening hook. The first chapter needs an ending hook. What does the middle build look like? Is there an urgent deadline established? And then a breakdown of characters, setting, key decisions. And this is just a rough out. I didn't do this entire book, but I broke down the elements, and this is for fiction. I have boards for nonfiction as well, but what's needed. And one of the cool things that I really love is you can go in and you can color code. So let me go to another workspace. This is an author that I'm working with, and he set this up to show where he needs to do certain things. So one of the things here is the red is telling if there's a hook, and you can see when I hover over that, you can name, it's really tiny, so you may not be able to see it. You can name those color codes. And so when he looks at this, or I look at it overall, then I can tell, do we need some kind of a hook at the end, or are the chapters fairly well balanced? So we can get a good overview of the book entirely. Now, I know that some writers don't like to outline. If that's you, you can still use this as kind of a memory board. So you know if you've put the right pieces in there. And so that's the way that I really love to use Trello when an author chooses, and not all of my authors do this, but when an author chooses to use a system like that. So you can see I've got a number of different workspaces. I have Kat's Trello Magic. I use it for business planning. And I've got, I'm not going to show you all of the boards, but I've got really, I can't keep all of this in my head. So I've got really good systems. Here's launching steps, testimonials. I used to hunt all over the place to find testimonials.
I know you got that idea from me.
I know I did, to find testimonials from people. When I assign work to the independent contractors that I have, I keep my book ideas. I keep a swipe file. There's just so many different things that I do. This is a big one for me, so I can see, and I also couple this with Google Forms, but I've got, these are all of my opt-ins that I have, and it goes on and on and on and on. But it's things that I need to have where I can really track what I'm doing with the different opt-ins. And I also, and this is just a tip, if you're setting up as a business, you want to set up so you have things so other people can figure it out. You know, if I was to croak tomorrow, somebody could come in and see everything that I'd set up for my business. Here's another one. I'm not going to open this one, but products purchased. If you're at all like me, you've probably bought a lot of things and you forget that you have them. So I started putting those in. That was another tip I got from Kat. But I have all of my boards organized in a way that I can just easily, and you can see I've got a lot of them. I don't think everybody needs this many, but I've got them all organized in a way that I can immediately find what I need according to the board.
Linda,
And then
before you go on, I want to, because we can show something on your account that they cannot see on mine. You have a paid account, so you can see all of the boards along that side there. I'm going to be showing the difference of what it looks like for me and how I get around that. Also, when you had your business planning board open, workspace open, you had many more than 10 boards in there.
Right.
Those are two of the advantages of having that paid account.
Yes. But the other thing is, I don't have to have paid accounts. Like for this one, I don't have paid accounts. This is for, like I said, one of my authors. So you can have more than one workspace and only pay for the one that you might need the most boards in.
Yep, that's a great tip. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, and let's see. What are the other colors that aren't hooks? So let me go back to I'm not sure if that's the one I had open or not. I don't think that's the one I had open.
I think it was in your business planning workspace.
Probably was. I try and, because for people who are in my courses,
Launching steps, maybe?
Pardon?
Was it launching steps?
No, it would have been.
Oh, about the hooks.
Yeah, it would have been.
All right, Linda, stop. Go up to search, to the search bar near your top right-hand side.
Yeah, I always forget
No,
that
not
one.
there. Not there. Go up to the blue one.
Oh, here. Yeah.
Okay, click. Just click in there. And look where you've been recently. Do you see where it might be there?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you guys go. When I tell you, you can find
you.
things fast and easy.
So what I do, you can use whatever colors you want. This is the author that I'm working with, and he's named this one Inciting Incident. This one is Character Development. This one is the setting. This one is the hook. The blue is for background and world building. So there's just different things that I set up when I teach. And so he's used some different things here than I necessarily have in mind. I have more in the ones that I offer to the people in my author camp than what he's used here. So, okay, let's see. So that was the other. Okay, and then Jeff has a good question, Kat. And we can keep this one open to show if you'd like. Can you point out which are boards, lists, and cards? So you want to address that, Kat?
Sure. Where you see the feather, the blue and the purple, that the desktop, so to speak, that's
right here.
Right. That she is on a board. So chapter 1, the 3-part story structure, all of those things are lists on this particular board. And if you look, I can't point, I'm pointing to my screen like you guys can see me. If you go from where it says a simple procedure in the purple, where the A next
Right
to
here.
it, far left. Okay. Far left, even farther over.
Right here, this one?
That's okay. Okay, that's showing you that this is the board. The space next to it, or excuse me, that's the workspace, but it's also called, the board is called the same as the workspace there. Actually, I meant way over to the very far left.
Right here.
Yes. So that is your workspace. And then you have a board of the same name within that workspace. And that workspace is only showing that there's one board there. Okay. Each of the things hanging down on that board, those are your lists.
If there were more here.
No,
remember,
over now in the main part, your 3-part story structure, your elements, those are all your lists going across. And then each one is a card. And if you think of a card like an index card, what you see now is the front of the index card. And if you click into one of those cards, you get what how I describe as the other side of the index card. And we can do that on mine. I know this is one of your clients, so we don't want to be showing
Yeah, I was
proprietary
just going to pop
information here.
over.
So
Yeah.
I can demonstrate that when we open some of my cards.
Okay. I thought I'd pop back over here and let me use that trick that you showed me.
Okay, this is another good one. This is your business planning workspace, and you have all of those boards in there.
Let me go back to.
That's going to take you to a board there. You should be able to click the publishing. Yeah.
Hang on.
Yep. There you go.
Okay, so that one shows all the boards.
Yep.
And then what else were, oh, how to save the file. That's what I want to go back and show. Let's go to this one. So if, let's say I opened this one up, here's where you can save all kinds of things. So you can have your attachments. Here's where you make your labels. You open that up and then you name these, whatever you want to name them. You can create a checklist. You can set dates. Some of this stuff is more advanced, and it's what Kat teaches. If you want to set dates, like deadlines for team members, but you can put your attachments, like this is the cover, so the cover is set up as an attachment, but I can add an attachment that would come from my computer, from OneDrive, Dropbox, a lot of different places. So that's where you could add any of your MP3 files. And let's see, paying attention to the other questions. Yeah, Kathleen, definitely what you bought, that tip that Kat gave me has saved me far more than what the course that she's offering costs, because I would see specials and I buy something and I didn't use it immediately, so I'd totally forget that I had it. And prior to having this board set up, I would sometimes purchase things twice. So let's see. Question, when you put your purchases in, do you make a workspace for each author of the material owned?
I can.
Yeah, go ahead and answer that, Kat.
I'll show you how I have mine. I group my purchased
Shall I stop
ones.
share and have you go ahead?
Sure. All right. Once I share this, I won't be able to see the chat or the questions anymore. So,
chat.
All righty. Let's see here. Let's get these out of the way. All right. Can you see my Trello board?
Yes.
Okay, this is my Trello account. Now, there will be some differences that we pointed out because I am on a free account. And you can see that I probably have darn near as many boards and workspaces as Linda does. This is all on the free account. All right. We were looking, to organize, let me close some of these. I organize by who I get things from. So I have several templates from Cindy Badar. I don't need to see them. So here is a workspace, and on this workspace, I only have boards that I've gotten because I'm in her paid program. And you can see what I mean about practical and logical naming of things. I have her original name. I have CB in parentheses. This immediately tells me it's a Cindy Badar template. And if I go to use one of these, I create a copy of it and I add the word my to the beginning of it. So I know I can change that board to my heart's content, and I'm not going to interfere with the original one if I ever want to go back to the pristine one that I purchased or got free. So that's an example. I get a lot of them from Cindy. So I actually have a second workspace because I had more than 10 to fit in. I have some from other people here as well. And look at here. Remember I told you about using the Z's to push things down in your alphabetical list here? Here's my workspace with my boards in here. And I use these for training. Here's my to be deleted items full of lists that I will delete by deleting this entire board because, as I said, for some reason, there is no way to delete a list in Trello. You'll notice that if I click on the side here, this is what I got. Linda got a list of her boards and workspaces. This is where Trello is prompting me to see this stuff. Well, I don't need to see this stuff. Let me show you what I do instead. All I could do is come up to here where it says Trello and boards, and here's my stuff. If I want to see more boards than 10 in a workspace, all I do is star them. And I have not run out of or seen a limit to how many boards you can have starred. So you can see I have a good number of starred boards. I can rearrange the order of them so they're in the order I want them to be, not alphabetical. And you can see that here's the name of the board. Software and apps is the name of the workspace I have it in. This one is in my active. This is in content planning, so I can mismatch. So I've got the effect of what Linda gets with the paid account, being able to click over here, not on that one, but on this other one, if I'm in here, I still have everything that she's got. I just go to it a slightly different way.
That's why I'd encourage everybody to go the free route.
This is something that I think would be useful to authors. I have a daily cat. This is where I keep notes. Now, long ago, because I have some old ones, I did it by date because I was transitioning from keeping daily log notes in a spiral bound notebook into daily notes online to my Trello board. Okay, you'll see I have a full date up here. This helps if I move this list, if I want to move this card, I have that date there, so I'm not losing it. Oh, you guys are going to ask me how I did that. Okay, let me, I'm going to show you this little trick in a second. All right, here's what the normal lists look like. You got to scroll way, way over. What I do now is I just do notes for the month. And I put the year, and then as I get to the next one, I double click in here and I will add the new month manually. And now I will start my next ones here for August. That's easy. All right, anybody want to know how I was able to see more of my list without having to scroll so far over? It's a free Chrome extension called List Layouts for Trello. And it allows you to be able to scroll this way and see more of your lists rather than scrolling endlessly to the right. And my options are stacked, single, forever and ever here, or back to the plain.
Okay, and we've got some other good questions.
Mm-hmm.
Susan says, if we have a paid Trello account, can we reorganize with Kat's system suggestions and get rid of the paid account?
Possibly. It depends on if you have team members in there. You will likely want to do housekeeping making sure that you have no more than 10 boards in there. I got a lot of calls. What was it, Linda? 2 years ago now, October, when Trello made a major upgrade and they put that 10 board limit, and there were no longer individual boards. Everything had to be on a workspace. And people said, all of my boards have disappeared, or some of my boards have disappeared. Well, they didn't disappear. You went to a free account, or you didn't move more than 10 boards into a workspace, and Trello did it for you and archived everything else. They were still there. So yes, you can do that, but I wouldn't be able to give a definitive without knowing specifically what else you have in those boards. The first thing you'd want to do, though, is make sure you have workspaces set up that have no more than 10 boards in each one. That would be where I would start, was what I call housekeeping.
Okay, and that segues nicely into Carol's question. Did you get more than 10 boards because each workspace has 10 boards?
Yes. At this point, there are no limits to how many workspaces you may have, and you get 10 boards within each workspace, which is why I have content. For instance, I have courses. This RTT stands for my Rock That Task. I have courses in planning. Courses at RTT, these are active ones that are either already available or that I am actively working on and are coming up shortly. Okay, you can see which ones are starred and which ones aren't starred. Okay, but I also have courses in planning, because to put them all together, I would be taking up more than 10 board space. So using practical and logical organizing, I'm still able to stay with the free Trello account. Where some people would have a paid Trello account and have their courses in planning and their actual courses that are out and their paid ones all in one workspace. I have them separated out.
Okay, and the next question is, do we need to keep a backup of what we have on Trello?
My rule of thumb is I have backups for all important things. So a lot of the cards that I have in Trello have attachments to them where the file actually resides somewhere else. So if I were to lose Trello, I have not lost that file. It doesn't go away. So you don't want to put like all of your PDFs directly in Trello, which you can do. You want to be selective about images you add directly to a card. You may be better off just linking to the URL to it instead. There are ways, like I answered Jeff earlier, there are ways to export a Trello board, a Trello list, your Trello cards using various power-ups and integrations. Some are free and some are not. So you have to decide what level of security you want for your own situation.
And Jeff says, if I use a workspace for a book I'm writing, it has been published and I'm done with it. And then he says, yeah, right. And I archive the workspace to my computer.
No problem. You will be able to search up here by perhaps the name of the book, and search looks into your archive as well, and it will come up. This is probably, using this search bar is probably the number one tip people mention getting from me, because people were going over to this side and then going to their workspace and then going to their board. And one client told me, I was doing this, dozens of times a day. And I said, so you're in and out of those 3 boards all day long? And she said, yes. I said, just go up here and go directly to your board. And here's another tip for you. You can right click on these and have more than one board open in your browser at a time. So here's my board list. Here's my daily cat. Here is my favorite quotes collection. Remember, I said a lot of my boards are repository boards of information as opposed to work workflows. I do have some workflow ones. So lots of ways to do this. The search is more robust with a paid account. You can go down more levels, but I have not found that reason enough for me to upgrade. You can also use refine. Like if you know a certain label, if you know a certain card had a label, or you want to see all the cards on a particular board with a label, you can use some of the search parameters listed under Learn More. But I rarely do that. Rarely use that feature. So Save Searches is a paid account benefit feature.
And just to clarify for Jeff, you can access archived files on Trello, but you can also do that download that Kat talked about. So that's a good security thing anyway.
Yes, I wouldn't have my only copy on Trello or information like that only listed here on a Trello. I would have it listed in Google Docs, OneDrive, Dropbox. I pay for Backblaze, so my entire system is backed up daily. Plus, I pay for Dropbox and I pay for Google Drive additional. So I'm triple backed up for all of my important files. But you can see here, all I did was type in archive up in the search bar. And here's one of my archive boards and archived notes. I don't archive a lot. I tend to either delete things if I really no longer need it. Because to me, out of sight is out of mind. Before I found my systems, I was a pile of paper, paper pile girl. I needed to see my stuff to understand where it was. I no longer have to do that because of Trello and my easy organizing and flexible filing system. I can put my hands on almost anything within seconds because I either can go directly to it or I have a note that tells me exactly where it is. Does that answer his question?
Yes, yes. One of the things that helps me the most, and I'm not going to share that list, but is I put all my to-do work in that list, and I can look at that first thing in the morning. Anytime I need to add anything, I add it right there. I cannot tell you how many notebooks with things I needed to remember, just a mess of notebooks. I would say I probably still have 40 notebooks that I haven't gone through because once things were written down there, I forgot about them. And, I didn't forget about the important stuff, but there were other things that were good tips for me or things I wanted to incorporate into my business or into some of my books. And so by putting all of that on Trello, it's just been such a saving element for me to stay organized. And people will say, how do you get so much done? Well, Trello's part of that.
Right, exactly. And one thing you can do, you can see that I had this presentation booked with Linda here. And here are the resources I shared. I can actually share this. And watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to click share. I'm going to copy this card. Every card, every board, every workspace has a unique link that Trello provides. And now I can go over to my daily cat card. And here are some notes I've been making to do. And I could go through the trouble of hitting attachment and Trello. I don't have to do that. I'm just hovering over and I'm using my keyboard shortcut Control V to paste. And look at that. Here is this card over here, right on this card. So it's like, where did I expand on what I needed? Where was the information? It doesn't matter which one I went to. It's right here. And if I click this card, it will literally open up that card on that other board.
Ooh, that's a tip that I must have missed. So I'm keeping that one. Okay, so it looks like, oh no, here's another question. How do you check off your to-do list once the task is complete? That's a good one. And do you have one you can show on that?
Yep. Here we are on my follow-ups. So on this particular one, I did a different Trello secrets. This was for a business community of primarily photographers. And here is where I use the date, and I put the date of the presentation. I can set the due date reminder. And when it was done, I literally checked it off. And what's nice is I use I'd have to check whether this is in the basic Trello or whether it's one of the free extensions I use. And I basically, so now it's showing overdue. See, overdue. And I literally just checked it off. So Linda could be doing that. She could be opening a card up and deleting it if it's information she no longer needs. This is where I use that daily cat one. I have the date on it. And what I would do here, because here's another one I've already got done. I'm just going to take my cover off of this one because that was my highlight. This was a priority one for me. So I'm just going to take this cover. I'm going to remove the cover, and it's just going to be a basic card again.
That's another thing that I do is I color code the cards more than just the small color bars, but I put a large color code on things that are super important to pay attention to. So I go right to those.
Exactly. And listeners, when you access my free, this is the actual free Trello resource board I put together that you can get free. No charge for Trello. They don't even ask you for a credit card. Don't have to buy anything from me to get this. You do need to make a copy of it. So here's to what Linda just said. You can color. This is a board cover. It says, click me first because I need you to make a copy of this. But these are all kinds of things that you can do on a free Trello account to gussy up your board. I show you how to put emojis right in the list name, which most people don't realize you can do. I have ways to separate things, like if you're planning on doing courses, you guys as authors may want this to read chapters or have one list for a chapter and things separated out by scenes or your character biographies or anything like that. To get a spacer card like that is real simple. I'm going to do it over here where it's easier to see. You can just click it and type 3 hyphens. And that card is automatically changed to a divider card. So each one of these has a different type of label attached to it. And I've given you lots of different ideas. You can copy this whole list over and then make adjustments that you want. You can create your own headers. I've done 14 of them for you right here. This is a Canva file. Just click here and you will get my list of 14 ready-made and sized card headers for you. You can add stickers to make things stand out. If you want to keep track of your hex codes to your website or your book covers, the colors, your branding colors, you can type those in and Trello automatically puts the color in when you do that. I talk about making a template card, and this is part of the lesson, part of my course, my Easy Trello course, but I'm giving it to you free here on this free Trello board. I cannot live with computers without incorporating these 5 keyboard shortcuts. They are used every single day. And if you have not mastered these and made them as common to type as a period at the end of the sentence, I urge you to do so.
Kat, if you'll stop share, I've got one more board I'm going to give people a quick look at. This is a book that I'm writing, and as authors, I just think it's sometimes really cool to, let me get my screen here so I can work it properly. It's really cool to have these reminders of some of your characters. So I like to pick images and put the images of obviously these are movie stars, but have some images that I can pop in there that are just reminders. I break out my areas. I put reminders. These are all the kinds of things that I share in author camp. And I'm not talking about other than just this, necessarily getting into author camp today, but if anybody is interested in learning more about how to get into that program, if you're not in it, then I'm happy to share information. You can just message me. So we're at 11 minutes past the hour. Kat has shared a couple of times, and they'll be in the replay, the affiliate links. I was going to do a review of manuscripts, but because we're past time, I'll do a private review for the people who submitted manuscripts for me to review. That's something that I do as part of author camp, is people can send written material for me to review. So with that, Kat, is there anything else you want to add?
No, just thank you for letting me share. I see I've got the sun coming through my window, so I've got funny marks on my face.
Can't complain about the sunshine.
No,
Well,
can't complain about that again.
Yeah, this was so excellent. And I know that as far as I'm concerned, that free Trello board is worth every bit as much as your the free course. So you gave away a lot of value as well as a lot of tips in this training. So I really appreciate you doing that, letting people have access to that. Everyone who's listening, either live here or on the recording, make sure you make a copy of that board so we don't have Kat do any more work than she absolutely has to. So with that, I'll sign off. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And you will get a copy if, for everybody who registered, you'll get a copy of the replay and the slides and links to anything if you somehow missed getting the links in during the call. So thank you again. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, everybody who's here attending. I appreciate you so much. And bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Linda.